So I'm a 28-year-old digital marketer and content creator with years of experience creating viral content, and here's how I got my first 5 clients in my business in 2 months. Let's get into it. It doesn't matter what business or industry you're in, every single business's biggest issue is client acquisition. So what is client acquisition? And why do we do it? Because it increases brand awareness, sales, overall referrals, and helps us retain the current customer base and leave space for more customers to come into our business. There are many ways to do this, and every business has their own way of doing it. In this video, I'm going to tell you how I got my first 5 sales online so you can do it too. I mean, if you know me, I'm a huge book reader, right? I love reading books. I love reading business books. I love reading self-help books. I love applying the knowledge that I actually learned from these books, right? But one of the books that really stuck out to me was essentially Alex Hormozi's $100 Million Leads, and he basically talks about 4 different ways to market. So warm outreach, cold outreach, paid ads, and kind of like a video like this. In one of the beginning chapters, he talks about warm outreach and how he scaled from 0 to 6 figures just using warm outreach, essentially. I was like, dang, well, if he did it, then I could probably do it too, just within a different industry. So what is warm outreach? Warm outreach is essentially a sales strategy that means you're basically reaching out or performing outreach on a list of people that you already have a connection to, right? So this could be somebody that you met once at a networking event, or your brother within your family, like your dad or your cousin, or somebody that you did business with in the past in a different industry. Now you're switching to a different industry. It can be anybody within your sphere of influence that has had a connection with you in some capacity, whether it be in personal or professional settings, right? So then how do we do warm outreach, right? So at least this is the way that it's described in the book, and then I'll explain how I did it, right? So the first thing is you got to acquire a list, right? So how do you acquire a list of leads? Well, I mean, literally you got one sitting in your pocket right now. Literally this thing right here, meaning your phone, right? So if you have 2,000, 3,000 contacts, which is usually the average on what people usually have, then you could basically go about your whole list contacting each and one of those people. But first of all, you have to acquire a list, and your phone contacts literally is the first one you could use. But a list could also look like your follower list on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, whatever. Another list could be a list that you acquire from somebody else. Like, let's say you're working in a specific industry and somebody helps you out and they give you a list of leads, but those aren't necessarily warm leads. Those are cold leads, right? So, but we're looking for warm leads to increase the potential of somebody actually buying from us, right? So number 2 is that you basically set out a time in your day where you just block out, I'm going to do warm outreach. Does that make sense? Like earlier from this video at like 5 in the morning, I just basically, like, prior to this video at 5 in the morning, I was basically doing warm outreach, sending out 100 DMs on Instagram because I wanted to basically revitalize the list that I already have on Instagram. But on top of that, I haven't hit these people up in like 6 months. So I figured, why not reach out again? So literally you have to take it upon yourself to look in your schedule, and just basically determine what is a good time for you where you can block out a specific amount of time in order to do warm outreach. And for me, I can actually get warm outreach done in roughly 2 hours. Alex Hormozi actually recommends 4 hours, but I found ways in which that I can actually make time go faster in the sense of like how many messages I'm sending out. And the way that I do it is by sending videos of a selfie portrait to the people that I'm trying to contact, right? So Alex Hormozi, he describes about, doing voice notes, maybe calling or text, but I'm gonna be mad honest, like all that stuff takes so much freaking time, because it's like if you send a personal voice note every single time, like 100 times every single day, it's going to take 4 hours, maybe in 5 hours. But at least for me, it's like I have a lot of stuff going on with my business, and then on top of that, I have to do warm outreach, so then I have to do this fast, right? So eventually I'll have somebody do this for me, but I want to be able to get as fast as possible, because literally the most important thing in business is speed, right? So I basically made an evergreen video of me basically saying like, oh, hi, how you doing? Like, how's your life? 2 things, how's your life? Let me know what's going on with you. And lastly, by the way, then I would go into like asking about what it is I want them to be attentive to. Does that make sense? So it'll probably start with like their first name, right? Like in text, and then something in regards to, that relates to their profile or to something that I heard about them in the past or in the recent past, and then afterwards I'll send this like evergreen video, and then basically asking them, by the way, do you happen to know anybody? and then afterwards it'll be like a more in-depth description via text. And that I've seen literally increase my response rate by 33%, mainly because it's like people see your face, they actually know who you are, they're like, and even if they didn't know who you are, they're like, oh, that's the guy that I met at the party or whatever, this, that, and the third. But you don't have to call them on FaceTime because they literally see your face. And if it's on social media and you have a pop-in social media platform, then it's like, it's a no-brainer, because then they'll literally go to your platform and be like, oh, this guy is actually real, like I've met this person in real life. Does that make sense? So number 2, just set a daily commitment of doing warm outreach. I know it sucks, but you know, it has to suck before it gets better. So this is something that Alex Hormozi didn't coin, but I'm gonna say this concept is essentially like relevancy scraping, right? So like usually when people think about scraping, they think about like going on and getting people's information online, whether it be their websites, their social media platforms, etc., etc. In this sense, it's like I want you to go onto their social media platforms regardless if the lead that you're currently operating with is a phone number or an email or their website or whatever, mainly because that's more often than not the one place that they actually talk about their personal life. So then let's say, for example, if you have a friend, she owns a business as a hairdresser. So you basically go onto her social media, search up her social media since you know her already, and then you're like, oh dang, she posted about that she had a child. Right? So then you're basically going to take 30 seconds in order to do that. Don't spend so much time thinking about like, how do I even figure out what's relevant to her right now? It's like everybody posts on social media. Like, don't make it complicated. Anyway, so then you literally go on there and you're like, oh my gosh, you had a baby. Like, that's amazing. How are you? And you do this either through your evergreen video or through the text that I mentioned before that comes before your evergreen video, right? So put it all together, as I described before, is essentially you say their name. So to put it all together, just the structure of how this would work, right, is that you basically do a relevancy scrape, right? You got your list, you blocked out a time, you basically got to the first lead on your list of the day to do a relevancy scrape. You do the relevancy scrape, which is roughly like 30 seconds. Next thing, you put out their first name being, let's say Maria, the hairdresser. Maria, and let's say it was her birthday like 2 days ago. I saw that it was your birthday. That's amazing. How did you spend it? Question mark. And then afterwards, this evergreen video, which is essentially asking like more so like, how are you? Like general questions that you would ask anybody that is your friend, that you would ask them when you see them for the first time in a couple months or years or whatever. It's like, how are you? How's your family? How's your brother? Like this, that, and whatever. Kind of use this acronym that I got from sales when I was in the Salesforce. It was essentially FORM. So you either ask questions about their family or friends, occupation, recreation, and motivation, right? Family and friends, like how's your brother, how's your cousin, how's your sister, da-da-da. And then occupation is like, how's your job, how long you been there, how long are you going to stay there, etc., etc., etc. And then recreation is essentially what do they do for fun, and then M is essentially motivation. It's like, why are they doing the thing that they're currently doing, right? So if they're starting a hairdressing business, why are you starting a hairdresser business? Or like, why did you start it 2 years ago? This, that, and the third. So, and then go on into the evergreen video. And then lastly, if it's something like, if you just want people to give you a response immediately, then you basically lay out the description of what it is. Because sometimes people don't have the time to look at your video, your evergreen video, but most people do. But just in case, like, you know for a fact that somebody's not going to answer, then it would be okay to send like a full description so they can just read it quickly and be like, oh, this guy sent me like 4 messages. Like, dang, that's kind of crazy. Usually people that see that you sent them more than at least 2 messages, people will respond. In my experience, a 4 has been a really good number. 3 has also been a really good number. 2, usually less people respond, but 1 is absolutely worse, unless they're super on their phone, you know? And that's one way, right? Another way that Alex Hormozi talks about is basically having a conversation about the stuff that you led in with, and then slowly shifting the conversation towards your business, right? And that's cool. I haven't seen that do well for me, mainly because it's like it would continue to go on into this like loop of me trying to ask them 20 questions, and me as a business owner, maybe I'll invest in it more in the future, but at least for me, after doing like a whole year of this, I've stuck to this new thing that I told you about, which is essentially like first name, lead-in message, evergreen video, and then if it's necessary, like exactly what I want them to do. So then what happens after you do all this, right? So you'll have one of 4 different responses. So the first being, yes, let's freaking do it. Let's go right now. And they'll give you your credit card. They'll talk to you in your appointment. They'll literally go out of their way in order to talk to you. Number two is that they say yes, but it's not them. It's actually somebody that they know. So let's say a referral. Like, oh my gosh, like, this is amazing. I don't necessarily need it, but my brother actually started a business and he needs help with this. Would love to send his information to you, and then they send you their information. It's like, and then you'll be able to contact with them. And if they do this, please do yourself a favor. Start like a 3-way chat or a 3-way call or a 3-way text, mainly because the trust is like, they don't know you. The trust will be established, right? So they don't know you. But if their cousin is on the call and they're like, oh, and your cousin goes, hey, John, whatever, my cousin John, this is Pedro, by the way. He owns a social media marketing agency, and you said you needed help with social media, so I'm gonna let you guys talk. I'm gonna get off the phone, Or you could do this all over. You could also do this over text message, which is pretty cool too. So whatever you feel like is appropriate, just like make sure that if you get their contact from another person, just make sure in some way that it could include both of you, so that way they drop down their guard in the sense of like being so like apprehensive, and then they eventually become like, oh yeah, I can actually talk to this person because they know my cousin. Does that make sense? That's number two. Number three is they say no, like just leave me alone, don't contact me, and that's fine. And when people tell you that, you listen, right? You listen. You don't continue trying to harass them for their information or trying to get their business. You just leave them alone. It's okay. Not everybody's gonna hit. Not everybody's gonna land, and that's just the matter of fact when it comes to sales, right? So it's okay. Your yes eventually will get there, and it might be through somebody else. It might be through a text message. It might be through a DM. It doesn't matter. You just keep trying, and eventually people will come. You will get your yes. Just know that. And number four, they just ghost you. And these people are interesting because sometimes you'll send them a message and they ghost you because they're probably busy within their own life, right? People have their own lives that they have to cater towards, like, so don't get upset. Just know that, like, okay, cool, I could try to reach out and follow up with this person eventually and see what happens, you know, and that's cool. Like, you can send it in 2 days, in a week, in a month, 3 months, doesn't matter. Eventually you come back to it. Make sure you label it in your lead list. That way you can actually know definitively, like, they didn't even answer, so I'm gonna contact them again and follow up and say like, hey, like, I happened to message you like a couple of days ago about this, that, and whatever. Would you happen to know anybody that's interested? Personally, Alex Hormozi says you should be, there's a dog out here, yo. What the heck? He's really upset. But Alex Hormozi says that you should be doing this for 100. He essentially, oh my god, so much dog barking. Oh my gosh. That's 2 dogs, like, just literally, like, going at it in a screaming match, you know? Dogs, man. I love dogs. But why do they have to scream at each other? It's like, I don't like you, screw you, you know? Anyway, so Alex Hormozi basically calls this his rule of 100. So it'd be like 100 warm outreach, 100 cold outreach, 100 minutes spent on social media, like videos like this one, and or $100 spent on paid advertisement, whatever. It's like a rule of 100. But I say double it, and he basically says do this rule of 100 for 100 days, and that's cool. But I don't know about you and but I personally want to get rich as soon as possible, mainly so I can be able to accomplish the things that I really want to do in my life, hopefully with no dogs that scream at each other. But I say double it in the sense, like, if you're doing 100 every single day, like, yo, do 200. Do 200 for 100 days and see how that feels. But if you feel like that's a little overwhelming, just start with 100 and then eventually grow to like 200 a day. At least warm outreach has definitely helped me. It took my business from 0 to 6 figs, which is really nice. And just literally contacting people that I know or have interacted with in some capacity, right? So my thing is like, if you're going to do something, might as well go all out in order to get results as soon as possible. And that's essentially why I'm doing content. That's essentially why I'm doing warm outreach. That's essentially why I got into paid advertisement too, before getting into cold outreach, right? So you just learned my system on how I got my first 5 clients in just 2 months. And make sure to subscribe because I put videos out like this every week. But if you want to watch a video on how I set up a successful follow-up campaign, you can check out this video right here, and I'll see you in the next one. Talk to you later. Peace.